Alright, so we're going to understand the application of the active and the passive voice, right? So all these sentences are in the active voice. We're going to change the form to the passive voice. The cat killed the mouse. So here the focus is on the subject, which is the cat. This is in the active voice. We're going to change it to the passive voice. So the focus is going to be on the action, right? So I'm going to say the mouse was killed by the cat. Right? Okay. Let's look at the second one. The man cut down the tree. Again, the focus is on the subject, which is the man here, active voice. I'm going to change it to the passive, where the focus is on the action. Right? So, the tree was cut down. I can stop here because the focus is on the action, or I can just add by the man. Yeah, the tree was cut down by the man. The third one, Columbus discovered America. Subject, focus, Columbus here, active. Passive, the discovery itself. So, America was discovered by Columbus. Okay. The last one. The boy teased the dog. Focus, subject, the boy. We're going to change it to the passive. The action, the teasing is the action. So, the dog was teased. Right? And I can add if I want by the boy. Wasn't that simple? Right? So, here ends active and passive voice. That's all we have for this session. I will see you in the next session. Thank you.
The sentences have been given in active or passive voice. From the given alternatives, choose the one that best expresses the given sentence in either passive or active voice. So, if it's an active voice, you need to change that to passive voice. If it's in passive voice, you need to change that to active voice. Right, so the first one that we have, I'm hoping, this section, most of you got all 5 out of 5, right? Because we're familiar with the concept, we understand, we just need to look at the tense. Couple of things that you need to keep in mind when it comes to active passive voices. Look at the tense, look at the subject, and focus on the action, right? So here, the subject is obviously the storm, right? The storm did much damage. So usually, this is an active voice. So obviously, we need to convert it to passive voice. So when it comes to passive voice, we look at, there's an inversion of, the passive subject, which is damage being done. That kind of takes the first place when you convert it, when you change from active to passive. That's what happens, right? So if you look at the options, you still have in option A, the storm damaged much. So you understand that cannot be the case when you're converting it to a passive voice, right? So much damage needs to take the first place in the sentence, the passive subject. So much damage was done, and we understand the form. You usually have the passive subject right first, and then you have the action verb, whatever was done, right? In this case, the action word is did, right? And then you have by and the active subject, which is the storm in this case, right? It's usually you taking the test, so you're already familiar with the questions, right, Rajat? You just need to follow with the questions that we review. Yeah, so obviously, so if you look at it, B, yes, much damage did the storm, doesn't seem complete. By whom, right? That by whom is not responded here. So much damage was done by the storm. C seems the most appropriate option. The storm was damaged is again incorrect in terms of meaning, right? So yes, all of us are aware. Let's move on to the next question. So this is more like a command or an order, right? This has to be done. So we have A, B, C, D again. Let the work be finished in time. Let the work be finished in time by us. So if you look at it, we don't have, who is it specifically being spoken to. It's a very generic statement. Finish the work in time. So we don't have other subjects reflecting. So whichever option gives me that, I can safely eliminate it, which is B. And C, by him. Specifically, it's talking about by him. It's not there in the given sentence. And again, D also says, let me finish the work in time. So there's reference made to, specific subjects, which is not part of the given sentence. So you can safely eliminate B, C, D and go with A. Let the work be finished in time. So those of you who find it challenging in terms of even active passive voice, like Eureka, you said B, right? Like I said, we need to focus on what is the given sentence and see if I'm converting it. I just need to work with the components given in the sentence. I can't add things. So there are a lot of additional subjects mentioned in B, C and D, which is not part of the sentence. There could be exceptions. It's good to always be prepared, At least given the history, we've seen active to passive, but you never know. There could be a change. You could be given a passive construction and be asked to convert it to an active voice. Who gave you permission to enter? Question format, right? And if you look at all your options, you have by whom, by whom, by whom. Right? And then you'll have to keep in mind the tense, and you'll have to keep in mind is all the components in the given sentence, right? So let's look at the construction. By whom was you given permission to enter? When you read it, it sounds funny, sounds awkward, right? When you have was you. You don't hear people talk like that because it's grammatically incorrect. Then you have B, by whom you were given permission. C, by whom given you permission to enter. That's again a grammatically incorrect construction. C in A, right? I can safely eliminate both these options. The question is it by whom you were given or by whom were you given permission to enter? So when you have this construction by whom, right, the construction is usually were you. You were given permission to enter. Who gave you permission to enter? Right? When you say you were given permission to enter, it doesn't respond to a question. So when you say by whom, just make sure that where you gets inverted and it doesn't stay with as a statement saying you were given permission to enter. Right? This is the form. By whom were you? Maintaining the same question format. Option D and not B. The noise of the traffic kept me awake. So kept me awake. Remember your passive subject? So that has to take the preceding place, right? When you're changing it. So if you look at options A, B, C, D, again, option A is kind of broken and it doesn't form a logical structure. It takes the active subject and noise is missing there, right? So the traffic kept me awake by the noise. Logically or in terms of construction of a sentence, incorrect. Eliminate. I was, right, addressing the passive subject, kept awake, addressing the action. By what? By the noise of the traffic. It's completing, right? So it makes sense. Again, if you look at C and D, I kept myself awake, doesn't make sense, right? It's illogical. Why would you keep yourself awake? What is keeping you awake is the noise. So C is out. I remained awake by the noise of the traffic. It doesn't say that. The sentence doesn't give that meaning. So obvious option is D. I was kept awake by the noise of the traffic. This is an easy one. Let him see the picture. Right? So here in this, unlike the other one where it says finish the work in time, the person is not addressed specifically. But here the person is addressed specifically. Let him. So having said this, I need to ensure that this person is addressed in the passive construction as well. So I have the passive subject, the picture has to take the first place, right? Along with the action, and then you feed in this person, the active subject as well. Which one gives that? B, the picture is seen by him. A, let the picture be seen by him. Seems appropriate, follows the construction when you convert it from active to passive. B, C and D, incorrect. The picture is seen by him is not the meaning the context is giving. Let him the picture be seen does not make logical sense, because the construction of a sentence where it has the subject, verb and object is not followed here, right? I have the active subject starting first, and then I have the object, and then I have the verb, which is not the right construction of a normal sentence. The picture is seen by him again. See, both B and D is not relating to what meaning the active sentence is giving. He's not seeing the picture. You're telling this person, you're asking this person, let him also see the picture. So B and C is giving me a completely different meaning. It's saying this person is seeing the picture. That's not what the sentence is saying, right? You need to retain the same meaning. Surya. The answer is A. So if you look at A, understand the meaning. Let him see the picture. So you're asking this person, boss, let him also see the picture. You're asking him to do something. But B and D is giving me a completely different meaning, where we're saying this person is seeing the picture. Right? So active passive voice, couple of pointers for you to remember. Right? Keep in mind commands, orders given, sentences which start with let, or just when it is a command saying finish the work in time, right? You usually, if you have commands like that, usually you have let, in the passive construction. Keep in mind the form or construction when it comes to changing it, right? The passive subject takes the first place, watch the tense, and then make sure the active subject is also given there. Let's move on and look at the other question types.